tough ball game. You know, the energy coming out of the first inning. Baumeister was good, and offensively, the first pitch of the game to Tibbs hit that thing out, and there was as much energy as I've felt in that dugout and in the stadium in a while. Cam, we've talked about it so many times, the capabilities he has. You start to see it coming into place. I know there's some stuff that comes up at third base that some of the off-script stuff that happens to him happened later in the game today. The great barehanded play was one of the best barehanded plays I've ever seen. Clearly a good ball game, and Baumeister couldn't escape in the middle of the game, and kind of got into a situation where we were running out of guys to throw clearly, and it got away from us. But the guys fought. We've used Army so many times, and we've got to be a little bit wise with him at this point in how many times we've bounced him back. And it was nice to see B walk out there. B walked through, I think, 28 pitches on Wednesday night, and he was good to go. So he's given us all he's had. Just a tough one. Their starting pitcher, Arguelles, was early. I think his secondary pitches might not have quite had the bite and depth, and then he settled in, and it got a little bit better, and they got a little momentum, and he did a very nice job of settling into that ball game and pitching deep and taking some of the pressure off of their bullpen.
You guys get out to a 5-0 lead. Is it a matter of managing emotions, keeping the foot up on the pedal, or just how do things come undone?
Well, you know, Baumeister, I don't know if he walked a couple guys in a row again in that inning. You guys, I can't recall after all that transpired since that moment, but he gets in some of those parts of the game in the middle of the game, and he's not able to stay within himself and reharness the command of what he's doing. So that's getting over the hump, and we've seen him where he's had some starts where he does it, but I felt like the same thing happened at NC State a little bit, where he got into something and then he kind of lost command. Getting hit is one thing, but then when you lose the zone a little bit, it's hard to work through that. Sometimes the ball in play, there's a chance something positive happens, but when it's not, that's where he's gotten himself in trouble in the last few starts, and he's trying to do too much. Like, he comes out of his mechanics a little bit, and we're trying to get him to stay within himself and continue to execute. Clearly he didn't.
Sounds like I'm making this up, but there was a raccoon on the loose in the rafters of the stadium. Like, that's when the whole inning happened for Virginia Tech, that fourth. And I mean, the stadium felt weird. Did you guys feel anything?
I didn't have any idea what was going on. I heard people in an uncharacteristic way.
It was a raccoon in the rafters.
Okay, well,
a couple of them.
I don't know what to say.
I felt like for some reason, like, the crowd just kind of got out of it, and that's when things kind of started spiraling. It felt like me watching up top. That's just one thing.
Maybe the raccoon had an impact, but we clearly have to pitch better and find some answers. Like, when those few guys that we've relied on in the bullpen aren't the answer, and we've used them so many times because we're not getting enough length out of the starts, then it does get tricky when we're going to some of the younger guys that have a long way to go, a lot of work to fight through it at this level.
What do you say to the team? I feel like it's been a common theme lately of strong offensive starts, and then maybe when the other team punches back, there's not kind of that counter punch. It seems like the offense doesn't really have that response after kind of getting maybe punched in the face a little. How do you talk to them through that?
Well, you try to continue to string quality at-bats together, and it's got to start with somebody going up there and giving you a quality at-bat. And the momentum swings sometimes within innings is dramatic. But then within the course of the ball game, it can be exponentially dramatic. And somebody's got to answer. When we get off the field, somebody's got to start things with a quality at bat. And it's hard, you know, the momentum and the energy. Like when you get to that point where you feel like you're in position to continue to extend, and then all of a sudden it's back to square one. Like, shaking that off and making sure you have the quality at bat is sometimes a tricky thing. But I will say, I thought the guy on the mound, I mean, he's out there on Friday night for a reason, and I thought he kind of settled in and found it in the middle of the game. And he's an older guy. You saw some of the experience and the capability to settle in and find it. He did a nice job of that.
Cam, the outburst he's had recently, just how much do you think has that come from better swing decisions and letting his talent play a bit more?
Yeah, Brett, we've talked about it since day one. And every time I speak with you guys, it is one of the most difficult things to figure out is the recognition of some of these secondary pitches. And he's at a point now where the at-bats have started to mount and log, and he's seen things repetitively that I think initially out of the gate, when you're at TCU and all the places we've been, it takes a while to acclimate to that. And he's made some swing simplifications that allow maybe a better later decision on some of the things that he's doing. So he's a special individual, not just player, but individual. And I think the trajectory is so great for him. And there will be moments in learning, and it's called an average for a reason. There's some highs and then there's some lows, and it evens out. But you just hope that trend and the quality of the at-bat and the decision making continues to escalate like it has the last couple of weeks.
Jordan thinking he'll be back tomorrow, or?
Yeah, there's a chance. He wasn't available today, and we'll see what tomorrow brings.
J-Bone, the Clemson outing, it seemed like the curveball that was the best it had been. The last couple of weeks, it seems like it's been inconsistent at best. I guess, how much is that kind of?
You know, with the first few he throws, and he's trying to feel it, and you get that moment in the bullpen to try to dial it in. I think when you throw the first couple to hitters, the release point and what it looks like visually to you and what's your targeting mechanism when there's a hitter in there, today it was up. And we hadn't seen that in a while. It had been down in the zone, but today some of the first few he threw were non-competitive up, and he tries to almost throw it too early and too much back here and not just letting it happen out in front. But I thought he got better with that as the game went on.
Go one more.